That's right. You've pressed play on All the Right Moves, a limited series from the Director's Chair Podcast Network about the filmography of Edgar Wright. This is it. This is the main event. This is what we've been working up to this whole time. And I am super excited to have finally seen the movie. We had a great time. We did a field trip. A bunch of people went and saw the movie in IMAX, and there is a lot to say about it. But I do want to welcome one of our, he's been MIA for the large part of this series, but he's a fixture on the show, and he did go see the movie with me last night. So obviously, we have to welcome
He's a fucking Chad.
Joe Sixpack to the show. Joe,
Hey,
what's going on?
yeah, I was excited to see it, and what we did the roundup or whatever. We saw the old one last week, right? We talked
Yes,
about that.
with
What's
nice
that?
Doug.
Yeah, with Nice Doug. And I started watching Total Recall last night after seeing it, and I was just like, oh, these are all like blending or you know, feeling the same. So
No,
yeah, I started
Dame
watching
Taft,
that.
get out of here, Dame Taft. I put it right in the description of the show. Spoilers. It's going to be spoiler heavy. So if you don't want to find out what happens in the movie, get the get. I said fuck out, not whatever it
Not the
actually
F
sounded like.
slur.
I said, yeah, it did sound like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, Joe, this is. I guess I want to know as we lead into this latest movie of Edgar Wright, what's your favorite Edgar Wright movie? Because you haven't been here for the series, not for any particular reason. It's just like an extra thing that I've been doing.
Hmm.
So you haven't been participating. So I've been asking everybody, what their favorite Edgar Wright movie is and what their thoughts on the
Shaun of the Dead
filmography is.
is
Your favorite?
his my favorite definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I would say that's the cold take is
Yeah.
that Shaun of
No,
the
that's
Dead
the right
is his
take.
best. It's the right take, yeah, for sure. And then I think I guess after that is Scott Pilgrim. I
Mm-hmm.
would say those
Yeah.
two are at the top, and everything else
Annie,
is
what's your thought process for why? Get
thought
into it.
process for why. I think Shaun of the Dead nails the comedic aspect along with being gory and the rewatchability of it. Like everything you pick up on after watching it once, you go back and see the post zombie takeover walk to the convenience store. The
Mm-hmm.
from when he does it the first time and then seeing it the second time, that alone I think is brilliant filmmaking, and then just the rewatchability of it
Mm-hmm.
is next level. And I wouldn't even say that any of Edgar Wright's other work has that necessarily. I think maybe he strives for it, but that's why Shaun of the Dead is at the top. Scott Pilgrim, I don't know. I just like the whole just vibe of that, the band element of it, the the fights, the stage fights, which also felt. I think we talked about that. Felt like um, Running Man. At some point, you have like the bad guys that he's fighting in different stages and things like that. Um, and Michael Cera is really good in Scott Pilgrim, and not to jump too far ahead, but a highlight of the Running Man.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that later. But yeah,
Sure.
those two.
Okay.
Hmm.
And one of the other people that was nice enough to participate in the mini series here and go see the movie live in person with us, even though, it's beneath her, but she's nice enough to lend her time because she's such a fan of movies and Edgar Wright and me personally. Let's welcome to the show Kaylee from
Well, thank
Voiceover.
you for
Hey.
having me.
How
I
are
am
you?
so glad that you are doing this series and that I had an excuse to go see this movie with all of my best friends. It was amazing.
It really was. We saw it in IMAX. It was larger than life, maybe almost too big. We sat very close to the screen, and it was overwhelming. And, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I haven't seen a movie in IMAX since I think Friday the 13th, the remake. That was the last movie I saw in IMAX. What's the last movie you saw in IMAX, Kaylee?
I actually go to the IMAX theater a fair amount, but I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with IMAX in general, which is that I don't really like it when films are not filmed with IMAX cameras and then they're put onto that IMAX screen. I think that the downgrade of quality is very distracting for me, and so
Mm.
I struggled with that a little bit. I actually found that it was easier to watch the movie without my glasses on, which I hardly ever do.
Yeah.
Um, I really really struggled with that. So I think the thing that I always recommend if you ever get a chance to see it on IMAX is Nope. That was filmed with the IMAX cameras, and it is stunningly gorgeous on that big
Mm.
huge screen.
Okay.
Mhm.
Not to be confused with Don't.
Yes.
Nope. Don't. I've been ending every episode with the trailer for Don't, and I often confuse Nope and Don't. But uh,
Mrs.
yeah,
Trucker Andy was pissed off to find out that there was no recliners in the IMAX theater that we went to.
that's the benchmark for a movie going experience, whether or not you could put your feet up for some people, apparently.
Yeah. I like
And
all the people that insist on bringing a blanket to the movies now.
yeah, I brought a pillow and my slippers and a blanket, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna take a nap during a 3-hour Mission Impossible movie. You saw Mission Impossible in IMAX there, Joe, right? You said you were in the front
I did.
row and could barely comprehend the movie.
Yeah, I was watching Tom Cruise go across the screen like this. I
Upside
was
down
sitting
in a
I was
biplane.
sitting too close. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was teabagging me from a biplane as he flew over my head.
Honestly, it's an amazing. I just fast forwarded to the third act, just straight up the biplane sequence. I was flying home from somewhere on a plane, and I decided to watch somebody do stunt work on a plane while I was on a plane. I don't recommend that. It's a little
Yeah.
unnerving, but that sequence is amazing. I bet it's
Mhm.
even better in IMAX. And you know who's even better in IMAX, Joe? Producer Chris, who also went to see The Running Man in IMAX. Chris, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
I
Yep.
can.
Yeah,
You
all
sound
right.
great. Sound
Thanks.
better than Joe Sixpack, so you're off to a good
Cool.
start.
Yeah, you didn't send me the link, Andy.
I guess I did. Check your email.
I did.
How did you get on here if I didn't send you the link?
I got it from
How did
Lucy.
you arrive here for the show?
Nobody
Thanks,
sent
Lucy.
the link out. Nobody sent the link out. It
You
wasn't me for
busted.
sure.
Oh, you had to reach out to Kaylee for the link?
Yes,
I check your email for fuck's sake.
I did.
I don't. You did. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk offline about
Yeah,
my
You sent it to
connectivity
producer
problems.
Crisp.
Yeah.
there are a lot of us out there.
And I do have another extra special guest that did not participate in the limited series, but I did want to get his opinion because I respect Christian Blatt's opinion on movies. Welcome to the show, Christian
You
Blatt.
know,
How
I
you doing,
don't
man?
usually end up on a lot of streams where someone respects me, so I appreciate that, Andy.
It's just a
Also, I'm
figure of speech.
really offended that I wasn't invited on your outing just because I live like 3,500 miles away. And Kaylee, you said you went with all of your best friends. That really, really hurts. I'm
I'm
just saying,
sorry.
I'm very sensitive when it comes to these things. And then the last thing is your IMAX doesn't have recliner. What kind of Section 8 movie theater did you guys go to? Were you able
It
to
was
pay for your movie tickets with EBT? I don't understand what you went to.
it was a
Well, it's
pioneering. I think it was one of the early adopting versions of an
Yeah,
IMAX theater that they just. It's been there so long they don't have the real estate footprint to develop it out to be better. I think is the problem.
Yeah, and the
yeah.
servers were terrible.
The server. What
Oh yeah,
do
and by
you
the way,
mean?
the only reason I got the link is because Vince the lawyer sent it to me. I think that's
Oh
how
no!
producer Chris ended up here. You
I'm
forgot to
being
send it to any
hacked.
of us. Yeah.
He sent me one beer.
But it was a light beer.
It was a light beer.
Well, I do want to find out everybody's opinions about the movie. We all went together. We went and had a lovely dinner. Kaylee and Chris and Carl and Jen and many more. Right across the street from the theater, and then we saw the movie, and then we went out for drinks. And the whole time afterward, we were awkwardly not speaking to each other because I had so much to say about the movie, and I wanted to save it for today. So it was a great time, but we've been saving up our thoughts. So I really want to get into Chris, what your impression of The Running Man was.
Not a big fan. Yeah, I was
Fair to say.
really disappointed. It was a slog. It was at least 30 minutes too long, and it had a lot of tropes of things I was not expecting from an Edgar Wright movie. So yeah, big letdown.
I guess I will say something that I've been saying all along, which is I set expectations for a movie. And obviously, as a reboot of the Schwarzenegger film, there is a standard that is established for this. So
Yeah,
going into this, I had to, and I think I got maybe 40 minutes into it where I started telling myself, it's like, stop trying to make this fit into the mold of the one that you already saw that you liked. Like, just
but
let
there was
this
such
be.
room for improvement there.
Well, right, but it's just like, just let this movie be what it is and try and enjoy it for what it
Yeah.
is. And will you enjoy it more if you start looking at it that way? And the answer is no. I didn't
Yes,
like,
that
I got
is
to
the
the end of the
answer.
movie, and I was just like, this just fucking is not hitting the way that it should. Like, there's room for fan service and tonal, like the comedy that you would expect from Edgar. These things,
Yes,
there's like this lack. There's
that's my
something
number one
lacking with
complaint
this.
is the lack of Edgar Wright's stamp on this, the humor, you know.
Yeah.
Although there was the style, the stylized produced stuff that was, evident, that was enjoyable, and some of the kills made me laugh out loud. But other than that, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, there were moments where I just was laughing out loud because I was waiting for laughs that were not showing up, and then when something kind of passable that would be identified as a joke showed up, I was like, "Oh, that's funny." Not
Right.
really. I mean, it is barely a joke, but Christian, what was your opinion? Like, what's your opinion on the original? We haven't had a chance to talk, but
Sure.
I'd love to hear about
I mean,
what you thought about the first one and the new one.
the biggest problem with this movie compared to the original is no Richard Dawson. But once you get over
One
that,
hundred percent.
you're able to just realize, okay, it is a different movie, like Andy said. Look, before we were talking, Total Recall came up, and those movies I loved when I was a kid. When I was middle school age, and I haven't revisited them because I'm not sure how any time I revisit an Arnold movie that isn't Terminator 2, I'm usually like, oh, that was definitely better when I was a kid. But so I always liked it. I had a soft spot in my heart for it. But for me, I actually felt like this was one of the most satisfying movies I'd seen in 2025. Like from beginning to end, what producer Chris is saying is 100% right. When I saw it was 2 hours and 13 minutes, I'm like, all right, before I even start the movie, I'm like, there's definitely 13 minutes that can come out. And actually seeing it, yeah, I found a few more, but I think that for me, the thing that I was most surprised by was like, oh, for me, Glenn Powell can carry an entire movie because, he doesn't carry Maverick, and I wasn't
Right.
sure because somebody could correct me and maybe I'm dumb, but I don't think I'd seen him star in a movie before. And
Does Twisters count?
No, he definitely does not, because
he's top bill. He's second
the,
billed in the
the
Twister.
star is the cow in the Twister, in every Twister
That's
movie.
not even in that. Yeah.
I know, it's because that's what you really want.
It's
But
still the star.
yeah, but also to what Chris said, it's it's very reminiscent of RoboCop and Idiocracy in terms of here's what TV is like there. And like when the
Sure.
families gathered around the TV to watch the Running Man start, and just the expletives flying all around, I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And I do think that's what Edgar Wright does best. One of the reasons I would have loved to have seen the Ant-Man movie he would have directed is little touches like that. So that's the only way it felt like an Edgar Wright movie. The rest of
Yeah.
it, I'm not sure whose touch there was all over it. I'm gonna guess the studio, but
Well, that's the thing. I think it was Stephen King, because this is co-written by Michael Bacall, who I was very excited that was the co-writer for Scott Pilgrim. And what I was realizing while I was watching this is that Edgar and Michael Bacall, being the screenwriters, are just leaning into the source material so hard. So Scott Pilgrim, the strength of Scott Pilgrim's dialogue and humor is Brian O'Malley, the comic book writer. They're pulling all of that dialogue from him, and he's inserting all the charm into that movie. This, another friend of ours that went to see the movie said that this is 80% true to the novel. So Michael and Edgar are just letting this be a Stephen King movie. And while I was watching it, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, should I just let this be a Stephen King book adapted for the screen? Kaylee, like based on The Stand or other Stephen King things, did you feel like this version of The Running Man was Stephen King centric and less a version that you'd seen before? What were your thoughts?
I think that you hit on two things that are really important. And the first one is definitely that this felt much more like a Stephen King novel turned into a movie than it did feel like an Edgar Wright movie. It was almost over the top with it. And I am personally not a fan of Stephen King, which I know shocks a lot of people. So for me, that did not work at all. I wanted Edgar Wright's stamp on this so very much more. The other thing that I really struggled with that you mentioned a little bit right when we first started talking is that I think there's a lot of tonal issues in this movie. We've created this dystopian future. We've created this dystopian critique almost, but it never felt like it actually got any of its grit. It just said, here are the problems, here's why corporatism is bad, but it never explained to me why the characters of the film actually didn't like that. And I wanted to understand that more. How are you going to give me such a long dang movie, which I agree with both Chris and Christian on, that it was too long. It was too long. Cut it down, but give me the things that make me care about the characters. And I never felt like that really happened.
Yeah, it didn't make you care about Ben Richards when he walked into his boss's office with his mixed race baby, and he said, "Why am I on the blacklist?" And then it hard cuts to his black baby. Was that unsettling for anyone else except me?
I think Nick Fuentes ended up in the editing room for just one moment. And he's like, "Hold on, I got this."
Guys, I have to announce that we have a very special guest joining the show. I don't see anyone on screen except that the screen name says that Edgar Wright is joining the show. Welcome to the show, Edgar Wright. Whoever you are.
Is that bloody cunt Christian Blatt spoiling my bloody movie, you bloody wanker?
Wait, is that an impression of Apple Pineapple?
It sounds like him.
I think you just wanted to jump in.
Yeah. It actually sounds like George Harrison from the Beatles cartoon. I know that that's not the most accessible reference I could make to everyone, but I think you just nailed that.
I get it.
All right, Chris got it. That's all that matters.
It was a pretty spot on impression, I gotta say, based on all of the overhyped commercials for this. This movie was fucking everywhere. They wanted you to believe that it was going to be amazing. This suffered the same fate that Baby Driver suffered for me, where they were saying, look at these practical effects, look at all these things that we're doing right. And then you watch the movie and there's just a severe lack of
Fun.
fun hearts. Joe, what did you think as far as like what was your favorite part of the movie, Joe?
Oh, great question. Because that's what I was going to be. Let me be maybe the apologist for the parts of the movie that I did like. So I thought it looked really good. I thought Edgar Wright did a really good job of putting out a movie that looked great. The stylized portion of it, sponsored by Puma, clearly Puma everywhere in the movie.
Don't forget
Um,
Monster.
and Monster, who
Yeah.
cares? Yeah, I hate. A little about me. I hate Monster. I hate how Monster has become the morning coffee for Gen Alpha or whatever. But who am I to judge? Go ahead and drink Monster. But I thought it looked great. I thought it was note for note the source material, which,
Mm.
for better or worse, I mean that's what it was. And the parts that okay, so let me back up. I said I was going to give you the parts I liked. I thought it needed way more Jansky. Jansky and Laughlin, like those two characters were just like there and gone, and they were like there was a lot of like character and heart there that we never even got to enjoy enough of, in my opinion. But Hurley, whatever the guy is, I forget his name from Saturday Night Live. I thought he was great. He brought the energy that I wish permeated throughout the entire movie, and
Yeah,
that we
the
didn't get.
humor that you want inserted in from an Edgar Wright movie. I thought he
Yeah.
was going to bring that. And well, we did talk about with Doug. I think that the characters of Laughlin and Weiss get killed off like at exactly the same time.
Mm,
They should have spaced that out. They kind
yeah.
of did that with this version where they didn't die immediately, but again, underused, I guess, is what you
Yeah.
were saying, Joe.
Yeah. And then his interview, like where they were trying to figure out where to put him, and like the word association part and the ink blot test, the Rorschach test, and everything. That was great. That was like where you really got kind of the anti-establishment, or like that anger from Ben Richards, like that character that I thought would have been really more enjoyable for. I guess it's just kind of part of the story where like the 10-minute video clips, like they didn't get to you didn't get to enjoy those 10 minutes of him being an asshole or like fucking with the general public or something.
Mm.
There was a felt like a missed opportunity there.
I think you're
Michael
right, Joe.
Cera, what?
I was gonna say I think you're right, but and I also wanted to get like some other opinions, like from Chris. The first one they have what I was calling the save the cat moment, where Schwarzenegger has the thing where he won't fire on the crowd of the people that are like the poverty stricken people, and that's what endears you to Schwarzenegger.
Sure.
And then it immediately it's just like, okay, he's a good guy. Now he's in prison. We know he's a good guy. They do this long pull the taffy about how his kid's sick and he's begging for his boss, and it's just such a long road to starting the game. Did you find that was like belabored, Chris?
Well,
Not to give you your opinion, but
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
that's my biggest complaint, really, and the lack of mature development that Joe was alluding to. But yeah, dude, establish that at the beginning. This is a comic book of a movie. Just fucking fun was lacking. Like I said,
Mm,
make it fun. You know,
yeah. The
every scene should be
Schwarzenegger
fun.
one. Yeah, the
It can be
Schwarzenegger
tense,
film
but
is all fun.
we know what we're getting into. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. It's a video game. That one.
Right. Yeah. I guess
Did you
yeah.
have
To,
some?
to
That's
balancing that,
right.
like yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like we saw glimpses of it, but not enough. Like what we're both saying, kind of
Right.
a similar thing is like it was there, but then gone. Like, so my comments are like as much as you get out of it, like from
Yeah.
those parts, right?
Mm-hmm. And Christian, as far as the lack of maybe like the different personalities of the
Which
hunters.
side are you going to lean into? Do you want it to be serious,
Mm-hmm.
or like I said, you want it to be a fun video game kind of movie? And
Right.
then we haven't even gotten to the Michael Cera character. Someone pick that up, please. That was annoying because that could have been so great.
I-
Obviously, it was like a
just
huge sequence, big part of the movie,
just to jump
and
to what
fell
Chris is
flat.
talking about right now, the Michael Cera character I think is great right up until the moment where his mom recognizes him and then he pushes the alarm because he wants to fuck around with everybody. And I was like, oh, this was building to like a very different thing. And then he's like, oh, but actually I'm crazy and I just want to torch my house and see how many people I can kill. And I was like, oh, that really took me out of the Michael Cera character. I wasn't like, oh, this is amazing, but I'm like, okay, this is a choice. This is the guy who wants to get the pamphlets out or whatever, the newsletter out there. And there's just such an abrupt turn where I'm like, I don't know. And again, I haven't read the book either, but I don't know if that's just what happens, if that guy's in the book. But I mostly was upset by Michael Cera's hair, really. But
Yeah.
I tried to get
Well, I
past
mean, I think that's just carried over from Scott Pilgrim, where everybody has horrible wigs.
Andy, I just want to answer Luigi's question there really quick. Yaphet Kotto is gender swapped, race swapped, and horribly managed in the movie.
Hey, and we do have another special guest from the Last Night in Soho episode.
It's Yaphet Kotto.
Welcome.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my skin tight yellow whatever. Excited to talk about Running Man. Thank you. By the way, Last Night in Soho, most watched episode of your miniseries.
Yeah.
The most watched. Better than Kaylee's episode, who I'm learning I'm not her best friend because I also wasn't invited to the IMAX.
Tony, you might notice that Rob K is in the chat right now, and he's already talked about how awesome I am.
Everyone report Rob K.
Rob K, get out of here.
I was
Get
listening to this. I was listening to this program in the car. Did anyone actually read the book besides me? Am I the only one?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay, I enjoyed it.
we're here to talk about movies, Tony. Books. Ugh.
Hey, by the way, the original Running Man is like my third favorite Arnold movie, and I still managed to like this interpretation of it.
All right, so your
Wow.
first two Arnolds are Junior and Last Action Hero.
No,
Oh.
Predator and Conan the Barbarian. What the fuck?
All right.
Ew.
Sure.
I'm sorry. What are
the
all
deep
your
cut,
favorites?
you got
let me get
blatted.
Terminator 2, which isn't as good as Terminator 1.
Oh my
All
good
right.
God.
I do want to get to Tony's thoughts, but I did want to ask Kaylee if her favorite part was when Glenn Powell's low-slung towel walked his taint straight into the camera. Was that the best part of the movie for you?
I think you know the answer to this question. I do want to just talk about Glenn Powell's performance because I really, truly was blown away by him. I think that he carried the movie as much as it could have been carried for me.
Mhm.
And also his booty.
Yeah, we didn't get that in the Arnold version, and he's definitely in good shape, and they definitely showcase that a lot. I do have opinions
No
about
diddy.
Glenn Powell. I have been watching him since he was Chad Radwell on the Scream Queens Fox television show with Emma Roberts, and I thought he was very funny on that. And I've been watching Chad Powers. I've been watching what he passes for range in that movie Hitman that was fucking god awful that he was in. So I know that. And then I got home from the movie and he was on SNL. I was like, oh, God, I'm fucking sick of this guy. Like he underdelivered in this movie I've been looking forward to. And now I got to watch him on SNL too. But
That's who he is. That he's like Chadwick Boseman, where it's like there is no other leading man. There is no other black actor. It is Glenn Powell or no one.
that's not true. But I mean,
I would. You know what? I'd like to see Glenn Powell play Jackie Robinson and James Brown. Let's get those movies.
I liked where he was in the Sydney Sweeney one, where she was like taking a stinky dump at the fucking coffee shop, and he had to like bail or like get her new underwear or whatever that fuck. That's where I stopped watching that movie.
Well, I've asserted that opinion too. That Glenn Powell is the male Sydney Sweeney, where they're just showing off his butt and she's showing off her tits, and that's the lion's share of their talent. Tony, what did you think about the new Running Man?
Well, one, I'm glad you guys are all saying nice things about Glenn Powell. As you know, he looks exactly like me, so I feel
Your
like
twin
I'm
brother,
getting
yes.
compliments. Little uncomfortable though that it's coming from
Show us your butt. Show us your butt.
Onlyfans.com/hackthemovies. Yeah, no. So I love the original, and the one complaint you always hear, it's not like the book. So earlier this week, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna read the book, and by read I mean audiobook at 1.25 speed.
Right.
And I
Like
actually
2 minutes ago, you were judging all of us for not having read the book, and you listened to it at 1.25 speed. Like
what's the
3 days
fucking
ago.
difference?
No, I'm
What's
just
the
saying, you
fucking
just did
difference?
it.
What's the By the way, the guy who reads the book reads it way too slow, so it actually sounded normal when I sped it up. So yeah, so I went in, I like took the Arnold movie out of my brain, and I'm like, let me just enjoy this as what it is. And yeah, it follows the story pretty well, and I thought it was like an entertaining like action thing. I like that Edgar Wright is trying to do different things. They don't always land for me. I think we talked about in Soho, like Baby Driver and Soho, I like them, but I'm not going to rewatch them. This one I would actually rewatch a couple of times. And part of it is because Glenn Powell really carries the film. It is funny though, because the one criticism Stephen King had was that Arnold looks nothing like the like shrimpy Ben Richards from the book. And then this one also casted a Jack dude. They borrowed a lot from the 80s movie. Like the book doesn't really focus too much on the presentation of the TV show, and both adaptations couldn't help themselves. They're like, we have to go like all out with all these graphics and stuff, all the fake trailers and everything. But no, it was a good, decent action film with fun characters. The ending is sloppy, but you can't do the ending from the book in a post 9/11 world. So I understand how they struggled to come up with a new one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You
Chris,
can't have the
mentioned-
hero 9/11 into a building.
Yeah.
The climax felt like it went nowhere to me.
Yeah, well, I feel like because they wanted to follow the source material, but they're like,
Yeah.
there's no way we can
can't
have the
do that,
hero
yeah.
bravely crash a plane into a building full of people. So they're like,
Yeah.
let's come up with something else, and that's what they came up with. But like Stephen King stories usually have disappointing endings, so it's just whatever.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie made up for it. I really enjoyed the whole ride. I feel like
Chris,
I'm in
you
the
had
minority.
mentioned that Chris, you mentioned that you were familiar with the book. Maybe you had a little erotic fun with the book. Did you find that was in the movie, or did it remind you of what you remembered about the book at all? Like based on the Schwarzenegger film versus the book versus the new film, did you find that that it was finding
I'm sorry,
memories?
you're breaking
Or
up a little.
no, I'm stuttering because I'm a fucking drunk idiot. But tell me,
No,
how the movie lived up to the book.
No,
I think Chris is
it
breaking
totally
up.
lived up to the book. It brought back so much memories that I haven't read it since I was like 14. Yeah, it's me. Okay,
You're good.
I
Keep
can
going.
try coming back in.
No, you're good. Keep going. We hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, short answer is it lived up to the book.
Okay, but you were saying at the beginning that you were disappointed with it. So were you? Have you always been disappointed with the book, or what did you want to see the movie do different? Like, how did the movie let you down?
Because it was an Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah, you wanted it to be more. You wanted there to be more Edgar Wright fingerprints on it and less Stephen King fingerprints.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. If I was just going to see a summer throwaway movie, this would have been fucking awesome. I would have been totally cool with it.
This would have been the greatest Brett Ratner movie any of us ever saw.
I think that is a really fair thing to say, that if this was directed by anyone else, and I was equating it to the Total Recall remake, the Colin Farrell version, as opposed to the Schwarzenegger one, and I had the same experience. I watched the remake and I was like, this isn't the one that I like. And then later, after I realized that that wasn't delivering the original one that I liked, and then I rewatched it, I was like, oh, you know what? Kate Beckinsale is just fucking hot as hell. I watched this all fucking day, and I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more after I knew what it was going to be. So I'm wondering if I will like this version of Running Man now that I know what it is. Kaylee, do you think that it's going to be more rewatchable? Not that you would rewatch it, but do you think now that you know what it is, and that you're not comparing it to the book or to the Schwarzenegger film, that it could be like it's a better movie standing alone like that? What do you think about remakes in that regard?
No, I don't think that this movie can save itself from itself. I think that it was missing out on the stylized direction that I love from Wright. I think that it doesn't understand what it is in and of itself. I think that it was too preachy. I think it was too revolution focused, too anti-corporate. And it felt like it didn't even understand that itself. If it had kind of developed those sorts of things a little bit more, maybe I might have respected it and been able to enjoy it. But I felt like it just didn't have an actual place. So, regardless of if it ends up being more Stephen King than Edgar Wright, regardless of if there were some cool action shots, it just fell really flat for me.
If there was a fence gag, would that have saved the movie for you?
That might have saved the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I only
Joe-
want to let me jump in real quick, only because Kaylee hit on something that I didn't love about it was that it just felt too much like where we were living right now when it came to all the deep fake manipulation of the messaging. And I'm just like, this has ceased to become sci-fi, and it's more of just a comment on society as we know it now. And I found it disconcerting, to tell you the truth. Like that should be sci-fi, but really we're like living that currently.
Yes, I completely felt like if you're going to be dystopian, I want you to be dystopian. This is exactly what my problem with the movie is that it felt too much like it was making commentary about today as opposed to making commentary about the world. It didn't feel evergreen in the same way that dystopian movies are supposed to feel evergreen. It felt like it was just saying, man, the world today is a really crazy place. Can you believe all this stuff was happening? And I was like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Did you guys just feel it was too close to present day in the sense that you're like, oh, Ben and his family live in Syracuse. It looks exactly the same as Syracuse
Yes.
looks in 2020.
I'll see
100%.
you.
It
in
smelled better, though.
Syracuse.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But we did get to see a couple of Edgar Wright staples. There was that one spray paint wipe. There wasn't enough montagey, like cut things that you expect from Edgar. There wasn't. There was some good car chase sequences when he's in the trunk. I thought that was good. I guess my opinion about a lot of the action set pieces is that they didn't go too far enough. They didn't plus up to a level that Husey and I talked about, where I think they showed some footage of these drone cameras that were chasing Ben Richards and the other contestants around, and we thought that there would be a lot more drone chase, kind of like over the shoulder first person type of action sequences. And if that had been more prominent in the movie, I feel like it would have been more special. And I just kept waiting for each of the action set pieces to be a little more over the top and special. So,
I had the
did
exact
people
same
have
thought.
like opinions about what their favorite action sequence was?
I think
Tony,
that-
now that Tony's back on the show, what was your favorite action
Let me-
sequence, Tony?
Sorry, my cord was hanging off the table and I just yanked the webcam out and this fucking site just wouldn't accept my web. I had to restart my whole computer so the website
see?
wouldn't acknowledge it.
See, Joe and Chris, even Tony, professional podcaster Tony, has tech issues. So
Favorite
And this is
action
why I'm better
sequence.
than Tony. Let the record show.
Okay, second most watched episode of this mini series. Let's relax. All right.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Um,
Scoreboard.
I think obviously the standout is the Michael Cera Home Alone action sequence. I think that's clearly the best. Although the one of him in the hotel was fun too.
Yeah.
Where he like accidentally blows up the whole goddamn hotel. That was fun. But no, the Michael Cera section had the best action.
Okay. And Christian Blatt.
Well, I was going to say that's interesting because the Michael Cera car chase, where he gets off like a few seconds into it, I think was one of those ones. What you were saying, Andy, we felt like we could have gotten a lot more with it, and I really felt like, oh man, they're ramping up for something crazy, and then it was over fairly quickly.
Yeah.
100% thought the same thing.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Romancing the Stone. when they take the little the Pony Express from the Mexican village. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
and
enjoyed
so
that.
and to come on the heels of the Home Alone segment, you're like, wow, this is actually I don't know, I feel like we could have gotten an amazing sequence. And by the way, the notion of Stephen King keeps coming up. If Stephen King is such a great writer of source material, then we all have to talk about how the TV movie of The Shining with the guy from Wings is so much better than Kubrick's version.
That is one of those things where it's like, yeah, that made-for-TV movie is the book. Unfortunately, it has a made-for-TV budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Steven Weber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which
TV
one.
Steven Weber.
Yeah.
I
But
just wanted
that's
to
what
say,
I was.
before we move on, I just wanted to tell Tony that Baby Driver is worth rewatching for the last great Kevin Spacey acting that we'll be able to get.
Oh.
I rewatch it for Kevin Spacey.
Well, then you clearly haven't seen his "Let Me Be Frank" videos that he's posted
Yeah,
in the last
right.
few years on his YouTube channel. He's still delivering top-notch performances, Kevin Spacey.
Real quick, someone said Ben Richards killed everyone in the apartment building. They made a good point to show that it was like accidental. Like he didn't mean to blow up. Like it was just they were shooting into the thing. Things fell over. Like he didn't purposely blow up the building. He even tries to warn the people killing him to get out of the building.
Tony, who said that? It was Rob K.
Yeah.
You can't even say his name anymore?
No, I will. I will never say his name. Okay.
We speak your name, Rob K.
But they, to be fair, they were poor people. So how much do we care about it? Yeah.
If this movie was making that commentary, I would have liked this movie better. This movie had no balls. It had no balls. And I'm going to just tell you right now, because I cannot wait any longer. My biggest criticism of this movie, I literally sent myself a note in the middle of the movie. I pulled out my phone like an asshole in a movie theater so that I could take one note about this movie. And I would just like to read you the email that I sent to myself right now. It says, "Pussies can't even kill a kid. Why would you kill the kid and then make the kid come back?" And I'm very upset about it.
They were fooling Ben Richards.
Yeah,
I let the kid be dead.
I agree with Kaylee. That is one of the things they changed from the book. They wanted it to have a happy ending. Because in the book, I mean, it's never confirmed in the book, but he dies thinking that people just killed his family. And that's what leads him to do what he does. But yeah, I was also disappointed by that. I'm like, because I was shocked that they even attempted it. I'm like, they're actually, I was expecting this to be rewritten, and then they totally undo it. That's where it kind of lost me.
One of the things that I always say, I know, Andy, that you talked all about Shaun of the Dead for this series. And one of the things that I always say about a similar movie to that, which is Fido, is that they do some kid death in Fido. And kid death and animal death are two very controversial things that happen in movies. And they make movies more interesting. I'm not saying that I want to see those things, but I am saying that a movie becomes more interesting and more thoughtful. And the entire problem that I had with this movie is that it never felt thoughtful. It never felt raw. It never felt like there was any heightened danger. I didn't give a crap at all. If you had just let the kid die, maybe I could have done what you were suggesting, Andy, which is rewatch this movie and see a greater good in it. I don't think that I can.
If that's what you're looking for, Kaylee, may I recommend to you the director's cut of The Little Rascals? You will love so much kid and dog death.
Well, let me jump in real quick because a lot of good points being made here. So I thought it lacked action. We brought up that dune buggy scene. It was just like, it's about to really take off, and it didn't, and that was problematic. And I said it lacked gore. Like the original, the Arnold one was pretty bloody or whatever, and I thought there was a missed opportunity for it to be a little more bloody and gory. That could have been better. But then the kid, I think the kid death thing is a Stephen King. It might even call it a Stephen King crutch. But that's what I like so much about Dr. Sleep. Where spoiler alert for Dr. Sleep for anybody who might be watching this and hasn't seen it. The baseball player kid where Rose the Hat or whatever, where the people kidnap the little league kid, and that's gruesome.
Mhm.
and that's a Stephen King thing. So it's just like, yeah, that seems like maybe, and I think a lot of kids get into Stephen King at a young age
Because
because
it's
of
all
that
kids
almost.
banging.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
Because of all
well,
the
yeah,
swear
kids
words.
bang.
It's
There's
because
only
of all the
there's
swear
only
words
really
and the
one
remedial.
instance of kids banging. It's just
Yeah, kids
It's
bang.
the swear words and the remedial writing. That's why
yeah.
people like Stephen
Yeah.
King.
Well,
Fuck
Edgar
No,
off.
Wright
but they,
said he started reading King at 12 and read The Running Man at 14 in the
hmm
video I saw with him. So yeah, kids
okay.
like it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's because kids are treated like real people, as main characters, as like, actual characters, and even doing things beyond what normal kids would do a lot of times. So them also dying is kind of signature of Stephen King content, and so yeah,
Yeah.
to kind of leave it out, or couldn't even kill a kid in this movie.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
valid
that
point
was
for
cool.
Stephen
Not to
King
cut you
content.
off, Joe, but just to keep going with the King references, I did enjoy the dairy where you have to go to
Mm,
Maine
yeah.
Hmm.
and they go to
hmm
dairy, and that's a shout out to Stephen King. And I did just other Easter eggs I picked up while I was watching it. That when he's scaling the building in the towel and he crashes in the window and the bald guy in the bed, that's Michael Bacall. That's
Hmm.
the co-writer of the movie, who's also in Inglorious Bastards and Death Proof
Oh, okay.
and other things. So that was a little Easter egg of his appearance in there. Did you guys pick up on any other Edgar Wright Easter eggs that are kind of synonymous with Edgar Wright films? Christian,
Um,
did you notice anything?
I didn't, and I also saw it on an IMAX screen, so I should have caught it. My seat reclined, by the way, but
so did mine.
oh
We got
yeah, okay,
lucky.
yeah, okay, so yeah, but normal movie theaters. By the way, something that
Quit
Chris was
trashing our
saying.
town.
You
I
know,
feel like we
listen,
don't
listen, guys,
have
listen, Rochester.
recliners.
Me and Christian live in the first world, all right? We're
Yeah.
like the network, okay? And
It's
you're the
just
Glen
the
Powell. You don't look like Glen
IMAX.
Powell, but
It's
you're like the Glen Powell.
it's only the IMAX theater. All of our other theaters there have recliners. It's just the IMAX one.
That doesn't even make sense. But what you guys were saying, well, actually, what producer Chris was saying before is, feeling like a video game. The last IMAX movie that I saw was Tron Ares, and that was all style. I didn't even hate it, but it was like all like
Yeah.
flashy. That literally felt like a video game. So I think that having that be my previous IMAX experience, I'm like, all right, there is a story happening in here, and zero Jared Leto. And you know what? Don't undersell that.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Can I,
Meanwhile, I'm seeing news items saying that October was the lowest box office since COVID, and it features Jared Leto and The Rock's smashing machine on the cover of this
Hey,
article, saying that nobody went to see these
I
movies.
think
I
just
did my
just
part. I went and saw Tron Ares. I did it for work, but I saw Tron Ares, and I hated Tron Legacy. It was a lot to get me in the theater for that
Tron
one.
Legacy was terrible,
Yeah.
and I agree. I think the only person that saw Smashing Machine was Husey, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
There's no documentation that anyone else in the world saw it.
I had a friend who was saying that Smashing Machine was going to be like that. The Rock was winning an Oscar for it.
Oh,
yeah.
But I don't know.
He would have been more likely to win it for Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
So,
Jungle Cruise.
Kaylee,
Go
did you
ahead.
think that this felt like an Edgar Wright movie? I feel like if you watch this, you would never even know. What did you think?
I never had if you had not told me that this was Edgar Wright, I would not have known it. Even with that one
Mhm.
very stereotypical, like you mentioned before, the spray paint transition. This does not feel like Edgar Wright, and I don't know if it was a studio takeover. I don't know if it was a decision by him. I see his tropes in Baby Driver and Last Night in Soho, and I can see how those are his movies. This did not feel at all like him. Perhaps part of that is just because it was so CGI heavy that it didn't have the same kind of heart and ethic that I feel like he frequently has. It certainly doesn't have the same wit. It certainly didn't feel as kinetic as his movies usually feel.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They-
he might just be attempting to grow as a director. Maybe he doesn't want to be pigeonholed to those earlier stuff. So that's why I'm kind of lenient toward it.
Yeah, and
I mentioned
I
it
think that
just
would be
in
fine.
passing.
Yeah.
I wonder what it did to him as a filmmaker to have that Ant-Man movie taken away from him. Like
Yeah.
what has his shift been since then? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure that whatever he had was probably pretty great. And they're like, yeah, we don't want this. And now he's probably been adjusting ever since.
Is this? Do you
Yeah,
think
that
this is like Sam Raimi directing Spider-Man, where it's like a genre, like a subculture director leaping into trying to be a mainstream,
I
like a blockbuster
I would
tentpole
No, no, no.
I
This
would
is
movie?
not think so because, well, I do feel like if you watch Ant-Man and you know that Edgar had an involvement in creating that, it does almost feel like an Edgar Wright film. When you watch Doctor Who or Doctor Strange 2, it's obviously a Raimi film. You can tell it's a Sam Raimi movie.
Is it
There's
just
so
because
many
Bruce Campbell's in it?
well, that and then also the first person things, and like
Oh.
you get to the end and it becomes Evil Dead. It becomes Army of Darkness at the end. So yeah, I feel like that this movie just doesn't lean into the fact that it's an Edgar Wright movie. And I don't know if that's production notes telling him that he can't do what everybody expects, but it definitely feels like, well, when I'm watching especially the apartment building scene, and I'm waiting for it to become like the
You're
raid,
waiting for the
Yeah.
towel to
like
fall off.
this really, like a really kinetic fight sequence, like extended fight sequence, like the raid or the night comes for us kind of
Mm.
I will say
thing
that
that would have been really phenomenal to watch,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it
yeah.
didn't do that, and I just kept waiting for more. Tony, what did you think?
Yeah, I think there was a missed opportunity. I loved when the drone cameras like came into the thing and it was like kind of
More of that,
tracking him.
five
I
hundred
thought that was
percent more
gonna
of that.
I thought that was gonna go on longer and they kind of just nipped that in the butt right away. I'm like, oh wait, no, that was actually a really cool camera angle to show all this. Yeah, I think
That
that
should have
could have
been the
been
whole movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Speaking of cameras, while I was going through the book, there were so many moments where I'm like, well, obviously they're changing that. That technology is dated. He's not going to record on cassette tapes that he then puts in a mailbox. Clearly, they will be updating that. And I'm sitting in the theater, I'm like, son of a bitch, they're doing the cassette tapes and the mailbox. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, maybe this is like an alternate reality where technology kind of took a shift in the 80s. But then they mentioned Barack Obama. There's a street named after Barack Obama. I'm like, okay, well, at least 2008 happened. What the fuck?
The only real
that
difference,
was funny. I did
Tony,
like
is
that.
that DVDs never happened. That's what
I guess
happened.
so.
It was still cassettes, then it went to digital. So that's really all he could do.
That does remind me. I had very similar criticisms to this version of Running Man that I had to Mickey 17. It
Okay.
felt like it was making a lot of commentary, but it wasn't really making it well, and it didn't entirely make sense. And same thing in Mickey 17, there's a point where we get to see that the technology is literally a brick. So there's like a hard drive that's a brick. And that felt even more adorable to me than backing us up to cassettes. Why wouldn't we in this try to make some kind of like little cutesy nod to the fact that, hey, we're not going to invent a new technology for this movie, but we really can't back ourselves up here.
Mhm.
I enjoyed, well, real quick, Mickey 17 tangent. I liked that movie. I felt like I think it just went on to too many like different side stories before it
Well,
got
I
back to the
haven't
point.
seen it. I'm waiting for you guys to tell me if I should or not. I guess.
It's okay.
I would recommend it. I would absolutely recommend it. I really enjoyed it. But
And I
but
wouldn't.
it did something that this movie also did, that Running Man also did, which is that, again, if you are going to make all of this social commentary, then you better make me believe that your characters believe the social commentary that you're creating. I don't care. Hi, Space Kitty.
She won't
I
shut
don't
up. I
care.
had to pick her up because she wouldn't shut up. Sorry.
I
Continue.
don't care. I don't care what the commentary
Don't zoom
is.
up on her. Get her off the screen.
I don't care what the commentary is. I don't care if I agree with your social commentary or if I don't agree with your social commentary. But what's very important to me is that the characters in the film need to support it. And both in Mickey 17 and in The Running Man, that did not happen. The characters were not supporting the commentary that they were trying to make.
Yeah, I think a good recent comparison would be One Battle After Another. I think a lot of us wouldn't necessarily agree with the politics of, many of the characters, either of the main characters, but at the same time, you're like, oh yeah, Sean Penn lives and breathes it, except for the one thing that he did that, got him on the wrong side of the Christmas club. But yeah, I agree. I think that Ben. I must call him Ben Powell, but Ben Richardson, Ben Powell, whatever, same guy.
Glenn Powell
He's
Richards.
he didn't really believe in this stuff, but he's like, oh, okay, it's getting a reaction. So he was playing it up. But I don't think all he really cared about was getting back to his wife and kid, who did not die.
Bullshit, dude. Bullshit.
You wanted the kids to die. Okay.
Well,
I did.
Well, Kaylee only wanted half of the kid to die, but I don't want to say which half it is.
I guess that's my question then, Tony, as somebody who has listened to the audiobook. Does his family get killed in the novel?
Yes. Real quick, are you done? Okay. No, go and shut the hell up. Yes,
That's what Andy said backstage at producer Chris. That's why he's gone.
Yes, they die. If I'm remembering it right, they die. Killian says, like, "Hey, someone unrelated killed them." I don't think there was the organization to keep them safe in the book. I could be wrong, but they say that they were killed in like an unrelated mugging.
Okay.
And they say the same thing. He's like, "You're bullshitting." He's like, "No, if they were alive, I'd be threatening them right now to get you to do what I want." So it's never like fully confirmed, but yeah, Ben Richards dies thinking that they're dead.
That seems like,
for all we know, they are dead.
That seems like a story point from the guy who wrote Cujo.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want to take this moment to recognize the fact that we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for the Director's Chair Network podcast and the founder and host of that, Ryan Rebalkin, is going to join the discussion for the Running Man.
Hi,
Ryan, welcome to the show.
I was really worried, Andy. I thought you were about to do a PBS pledge break. We're all going to have to donate money.
Viewers
No,
like
he's gonna do
you support
Ad
this
for
show.
Blue Chew.
Yeah.
I would like a Ryan Rebalkin tote bag, though.
Oh, that'd be great. That's fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. All great familiar faces, and Tony, it's great to finally meet you.
I know. You're welcome for having the most watched episode of the miniseries, better than Kaylee's episode.
Oh, is that true?
Yep. Out of all the Edgar Wright ones, I had the most watched views. Definitely wasn't manipulated by any kind of community post. Way better than Kaylee's. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
What did you think of the movie, Ryan?
Okay. Well, what have you guys said? I love to
It
share
doesn't
my
matter
thoughts.
what we've said. We
Okay.
want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, where do I start? Okay, I wanted to like it more than I did, and I hate that I feel that way.
Yeah.
It's a movie that looks really smart. It looks clever. It feels like it should be clever, but it's a movie that also misses the tone. I kind of wish it picked a lane of give me dystopian, give me a little bit darker. I wish it leaned into, because it was very violent. There's like heads being blown off and there's some crazy violence. And then it was like, but this is like Looney Tunes, right? And it's like, well, no, you're actually killing people on screen. And I was really confused by that message. I know he wanted to be silly but violent. I don't know if it worked. And the thing that bugged me the most too is when the race started, there's only 3 contestants. I was like, that's it? I was kind of bummed out about that. And then halfway through the film, it was just Glenn Powell's character left. I'm like, what? We got 1 hour left with 1 contestant. Is this like Minority Report all of a sudden? Like it felt. I like Glenn; he was fine and all, but I wanted more characters. I thought they were going to team up. I thought him and the lesbian they were going to team. I thought there was going to be like a team up. They're going to find out, infiltrate, work together. She would have been killed like second to last or something. It was like they all died on their own. Nobody teamed up, and the way they got caught and killed was really example.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Ryan,
really-
before you
really
came
silly.
on, we were complaining about the 2 hour and 19.
I locked her down here. That's why she's screaming.
So
Sorry, be
the-
right back.
I think the 2 hour and 19-minute runtime is only because we didn't waste time with the 2 characters that I don't know. None of us gave a shit about, especially the first guy. The lesbian was at least interesting. That first guy, you're like, okay, go. Sorry, Andy.
Well, not to disagree, but I really
Well, you
thought
disagree.
that
It's a show. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to disagree because I really thought that was this was going to be my point to Ryan's statement that Ben Richards is not a likable character in this. They make a point to say he's just this well of anger and frustration, which doesn't endear yourself to rooting for him, which is kind of something that I was complaining about with Baby Driver and the lead of that. And I just needed you to make me root for Ben a little bit more. And every time they did a deep fake to try and convince you that he was even worse than he actually was, it just didn't help the personality of a guy that has the capacity to be a likable leading man. They just stripped that away from Glenn Powell as a leading man and made him this frustrated, angry guy.
Yeah, it was weird.
And
Was he like the Hulk or something? I feel like every time he got angry, he was all of a sudden like kick-ass badass. I didn't understand. He was like a good, calm, happy father, and all of a sudden he snapped and he was like super strength, angry, and incredible fighter. Was there any history on his fighting ability that I missed? Or
Well, it's like Marty McFly. If you call him Chicken, all of a sudden he's gonna fight to the death. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's heavily suggested, even outright said that he does have a temper and he does get into fights. That's why he brings the baby in the beginning to prevent himself from beating the shit out of his ex-boss. So yeah, it's implied that he is kind of a badass.
The one scene where he fantasizes smashing Josh Brolin's face, I thought we might get more of that. So it actually feels way more out of place. The fact that it's the one time that happens in the entire movie.
More of that would have been. I think that would have helped the movie overall if he.
But then it would have been 2 hours and 21 minutes.
Before I forget, before we get too far away from it, I just wanted to comment on something Ryan said, which was with Laughlin, where you see the Vegas sequence, and then they get into the two hit kids killing her with flamethrowers, whatever it is. I like the way they cut it. I'm like, oh, she's not dead. She's going to come back in the movie. Like,
I actually thought that too.
This line is not over, and that never played out at all. They edited it in, and maybe intentionally, because again, we're commenting on like the way that we experience media now, where you can't really believe in anything. It's edited in a way where you think she'll be back. She never does. You can't believe anything that's really happening, and maybe that's intentional with the way they edit it. But I was like, oh, she'll be back. She's not dead.
Did you guys talk about the multitude of costume and outfits he was wearing? I felt I was watching The Master of Disguise with Dana Carvey. I was just like,
no, that's his other movie, The Hitman, different Glenn Powell movie.
Oh, okay, all right. I was like, why is he wearing a father outfit or whatever? Like that was, I don't know why that was hokey and bad. The outfit changes.
The answer is it was in the book.
Okay.
That's
William H. Macy gave him the priest outfit, and there was another one, right? He had 2 changes for him, but
he was an executive and a priest. And then he just switches. He's like a cowboy, but that costume sucks, and he switches with the bum because I think he knows that cowboy costume.
The guy, and this guy who William H. Macy's character gives him literally the worst fake mustache ever. How did that guy stay in business?
I will though. Just before I forget this, that was because we're kind of lacking in things to like about it, where he was checking into the hotel or something, or I can't remember what section it was, but the picture of him behind, like, essentially the mugshot of him, and he's like turning in time with the mugshot and
that
stuff,
was fun.
and it constantly like looks exactly like him. That was a good.
That was a clever shot. That was a clever shot.
Yeah, I agree that was a standout moment in an otherwise not great film. I also want to bring up something that Ryan made me think of, which I did not put together at all. But you mentioned like the idea of like the Looney Tunes and the comedy. I think that if this had been more like something like Kung Fu Hustle or other Stephen Chow films, I would have loved this so much. And now I'm almost thinking that I wish that Stephen Chow had directed this instead of Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I agree. And I was thinking about, I'm glad you brought up the kids with the flamethrowers, and it made me miss the niche, cartoonish, action figure-y versions of the Hunters. You only get the Macomb character. Tony, did you like the eye wound of Macomb?
No, I didn't, and I didn't like seeing it in IMAX. Okay, so real quick,
I thought of you during that. I was so happy.
Yeah,
at least you were able.
Tony's gonna hate this.
At least you were able to recline, Tony.
Yeah. So I think in the book they just wear like black hoods or something. But when I saw the trailer and he has like a cool costume, like, okay, maybe that's something from the 80s movie they're gonna carry over. Like they're all gonna be in cool outfits. But you're right, it's just him. The other hunters don't have that. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, now it's weird that there's just one that's sticking out and they're not
Yeah.
all kind of their own different characters. I will say the marketing kind of like was misleading. You said you were upset that there were only 3 contestants.
Right.
Again, that is the source thing, but the trailer showed all these deaths. So in my mind, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
for the movie version, there's going to be like probably like 10 contestants.
Mm.
But then all those deaths in the trailer are just little highlight reels that sometimes
Right.
are playing in the background. I'm like, oh, that's kind of, I thought the whole movie was going to be sprinkled with that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not
is
the
that-
filmmaker's fault. That's the advertising's fault.
Right.
But yeah,
So
I was
is
This is
that
why I
what
don't
that
watch
was?
trailers. This is why I never watched trailers. I never saw one scene from this film until I watched the film. But
you would
I
have
was,
been more upset then.
Me too.
I was upset.
Because I did get up to go to the restroom at one point,
Mm.
and then I was watching a commercial for it again when the guy gets the crossbow bolt through the head into
Yeah.
the tree.
That was
I-
nice.
that was never in the movie, right?
It
that
was.
just
No,
like in
it
the
is.
background.
And
Right.
actually, they play it twice, but again, it's like little reels behind someone or on the guy's
Mm.
like little video that he plays.
The really
Yeah.
clunky plot device where the kid who helps him escape is also the little brother of the
Yeah.
guy who just happens to do, I don't know, the YouTube channel, whatever. it
That's
is.
new, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
new for this movie. The YouTube
But-
channel is new for this movie.
By the way, that guy had a nice wall of VHS tapes, Tony.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just like I do, actually. So that's in there though, because he's like talking about past seasons. So that is a
Yeah.
death from a past season.
Mhm.
So that is in the movie, but that's where multiple of the deaths in the trailer are from that guy's video.
Yeah, like the
And-
branch, the logs smashing the guy's head and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, oh,
Mm.
again, I thought there were going to be like 10 contestants they would cut
Although
to in between action
Te-
sequences.
technically, that kills from Return of the Jedi when the
Yeah.
I want to ask everybody around the table, just based on this part of the conversation, Kaylee. Have you ever seen something in a trailer that didn't end up in the movie? Like famously
yeah.
for me, the Mr. and Mrs. Smith tricycle with the gun on it that was in the trailer for that. I
geez,
remember that not being in the movie and being like, "What the fuck? Where's the tricycle gun?" Do you have any point of reference for something like that?
That happens all the time, but I also, so like Ryan mentioned, I don't like to watch trailers at all. I don't like to have any, I don't even like to know the director of movies going in. I want to know if somebody recommends me a movie that I trust their opinion, then I will go see
must
that
watch
movie.
a ton of bullshit then with that. You must watch garbage nonstop.
I just like a lot of movies. I
Okay.
have low standards.
Here's the thing, Kaylee's never seen the original Halloween because it's called John Carpenter's Halloween. She's like, I don't want to know who made this. I'm going to start it too.
Why did they put the composer's name in the title?
Yeah.
Hey, you have to like funnel out, like you have to vet
I
and
do.
funnel
Yeah,
things down.
I make an effort to not know anything. I like to not know who's starring in movies. I want to go in completely blind to films.
How do you go to the
And-
theater? You walk in, you see his poster, and you're like, oh, fuck him.
Yeah, I do.
She's
I
just,
try.
like,
I try to
closing
put
her
on the
eyes and
blinders.
pressing buttons on the thing, like, we'll see what the dice roll.
It's that lady. Is she blind? No, she's just really annoying.
She's just completely out of her fucking mind. But because of that, so I know that I have seen things like that where there is a sequence in a trailer and then it's not in the movie, and then it drives me crazy because I'm like, but what about that cool looking thing?
Well-
But of course, I can't think of any examples.
Well, I'm embarrassed that this comes up only like 2 minutes after I mentioned Return of the Jedi because my example is Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh,
with-
you're gonna say mine. If you say mine, Christian, I'm
But
gonna.
no,
pound you.
the trailer for Rogue One was cut
Yeah.
from an earlier cut of the movie where completely different things happened.
Yeah.
So what you saw in there, you've actually never seen. And to Kaylee's thing about trailers, again, Star Wars, the only time I ever did that was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I would walk out of a theater for the trailers. I wouldn't watch
Oh,
it on
wow.
TV. And then I finally saw the movie and I was like, well, why the fuck did I do that? Look what I ended up with. So I've never done that since. I'm always fine with trailers ever since Star Wars Episode.
Ah.
Anybody else have an example?
Well, I thought Christian was going to say mine because Rogue One was the one I came up with. There was a cool scene in the trailer. I should say I've never seen a trailer. I did. I think Star Wars ones I've watched. I admit. So when the Rogue One trailer came out, there was a scene with the female lead. She's on this plank, the steel plank at the end, and the I'm not a nerd. TIE fighter comes up and faces her. And it's like it comes up, and she's like facing off with it. Never happened in the film. I was waiting for that scene through the whole film. I'm like, oh boy, that was actually legit. That was probably the biggest disappointment from a trailer that I've ever experienced because I couldn't wait to see how that scene played out, but it didn't happen in the film.
I can't think of like scenes that were like in a trailer and then deleted, but I can remember a couple misleading stuff where they
Oh,
shot stuff for a trailer. The 2006 Black Christmas remake.
Oh,
Watch
no.
that trailer. There's straight up stuff they shot for the trailer to make the
Right.
movie seem more exciting. That's just not in the
That's
movie.
your favorite Black Christmas, right? If I remember correctly.
Oh no, I know you're making a joke. 2019 is the bad remake. That's the bad remake.
Oh,
2006
that's
is the okay remake.
Oh my god, yeah,
Um,
that 2019 one is the fucking worst.
Yeah, and then the one that's fresh in my head because the new Predator's out, but Predators, Adrian Brody has his hands up and there's a million laser sights on him.
Yes.
And then
yes.
you see the movie and it's just one. You're like, oh, fuck off, trailer.
Oh, did they do that? Oh, that's
1,000
terrible.
Predators.
That's
That reminds me though of The Gray when they show Liam Neeson with the broken bottles and he's gonna punch a wolf in the face.
Oh, and
it's
then
the
we-
very last
Oh.
scene, and they never show the fight scene with that.
I got one, guys. That movie, All the Money in the World. When I saw that trailer, I said, wow, Kevin Spacey's going to be really good in that. And then the movie
bet he's
came
not
out
gonna
and it was Christopher Plummer. And I said, where's Kevin Spacey?
I don't think you want to know the answer as to where.
Yeah.
He was.
who knows what he was into that
I love
day,
it. Go watch that trailer. Kevin Spacey has like all these makeup effects on. And then when they recast them, they're like, fuck the makeup. It's just Christopher Plummer. We don't have time.
I do have one big bone to pick about the Running Man as well. It was the whole idea of the open city amongst the public. That surprised me. So when he went down the chute, I'm like, oh, here we go. He's going into the arena type area. He's going to go, like an abandoned dystopian type village or something. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm going to go order a pizza. I'm like, what's going on here? I was so confused that they're playing cards and they're mingling with the public. He's catching a cab. I really wish they did a. You ever seen the movie Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Years ago, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Of course
So
have.
okay. Well, I like the idea that they had an area. Well, what I mean by this is they had an area where they would hunt humans. The idea was this was a designated area where the rich people go hunt humans the way you would hunt a lion, right? So I kind of wish they did that with this with a few more contestants. I guess like the Hunger Games. I think the Hunger Games nailed that really well. They had an area where it was televised. You had all these contestants with some characteristics. They showed the training ground. I think the Hunger Games did it very well. And maybe I can't believe I'm saying that about the Hunger Games. I'm not even a big fan of it.
No,
but the
no, you're
idea
right,
that
though.
We talked
they
about it.
oh, you did. Okay, so yeah, just the idea that you had all these
Not
different
here,
characters with different abilities. It was televised. It made more sense. This world building was so weak, and I think I have a theory why the world building is weak nowadays. I could be wrong. A lot of people watch movies with their phones, and I think there's a part of the part of the movie making now is they think nobody cares. We don't really like people might look up every now and then when an action beat happens. And I'm watching this like, what is this world? How does it operate? Why are there like separations? Why does the game show have so much power? I just either I'm dumb or I was just or it wasn't written very well or both. I just don't know what
Either
happened.
dumb or brilliant. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
I
mean,
guess
a lot of people are guests on a podcast while they're on their phones, right, Kaylee? Did you think
Oh,
that
jeez. Holy.
did you think that
Oh.
Domingo Coleman was a good? I thought that he could have been the
I have to point
Killian.
out his name is
It's-
Coleman Domingo, by the way.
right. Yeah. Thank you.
Domingo
And-
Coleman sounds like a Saturday Night Live character.
Yeah, but Tony and I got it completely wrong on Last Night in Soho too, and I pointed
Oh,
that
damn
out.
it.
But I thought that he could have just been the Killian. I think they felt like they got Josh Brolin, so they needed to use him. But I thought that Coleman Domingo could have been Killian through the whole thing. He was great. Kaylee, what did you think?
He was great. I honestly I have a hard time with questions like that in particular because there were elements of this that were great, but then I kept getting lost in everything else. And it felt at loss with itself.
My problem is that Richard Dawson is so great in the first one. So
Yeah.
to split him up into two different characters was
Well, that's
disappointing to me.
That's the funny thing, because he is two different characters, and that original movie did what you did. They're like, wait, why don't we just put those two characters together? And then this movie was like, fuck you, original movie, we're separating them again. Now it's two characters. I'm like, you could have just made them one character. It would have been fine. It worked for the other movie. That's like one change in the other movie that I actually liked. Like, yeah, just put these two together. Why not?
But perhaps the intention of doing that is saying that Dawson wasn't achievable by one person. So I don't know.
I said
That's
it should have
true.
been Ryan Seacrest. in the last one. Like it would have been akin to that if you could get Ryan Seacrest to conceivably do a villain. It like that he would be the modern
Were,
Richard Dawson.
were you guys confused that Sean Hayes was one of the game show hosts for one
I
season,
noticed.
and then he
Hated
never
that.
shows
One
up
of-
again?
One of
I
the
fucking-
other game shows.
Yeah, I wanted to see more of him. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
great. He should have been
The
dude.
wheel, the spinning wheel,
The
gerbil
wheel,
wheel.
yeah, the fat guy on wheel show. That show's great.
I did want to confirm though that like I was waiting for Bobby T to get brought up as one of the highlights of this movie. That it took us this long. We're over an hour into this before he gets brought. His voice alone could have carried a lot of this movie. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, it would have been better if Josh Brolin was not even in it. It was all just him doing the Richard Dawson thing.
Yeah,
I think he had what it takes to do that. And I
Well, you
don't
didn't
know
like Josh
why
Brolin?
They split. I do like Josh Brolin, but I like the Richard Dawson dynamic. How he is on stage being the most charismatic person that's bringing all of the boys to the yard, and then off camera he's the world's biggest dick. And
Right.
that's what's great about the Dawson character in the first one. And
Right.
I think that Coleman Domingo's Bobby T had the potential to
It's
be that
closer
character.
to real
They
life
didn't-
Richard Dawson in the first
They
one.
didn't need Josh Brolin, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we can get Josh Brolin, so we'll use Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have. It's like
Yeah, the more Bobby T, the better. Like they should.
Yeah,
Like
he wasn't
They,
in the movie enough.
Yeah.
You're right.
He would have killed the Brolin part too. Yeah.
Because I have to run in a moment, I'm going to interrupt everybody and say that what I kind of like the Bobby T arc in the end where he's like, yeah, check my contract, and he
it was
walks
great.
up. But that refers to kind of how the ending has like kind of like three endings. It's almost like, when you see Clue on television and they stitch all three endings together.
Oh, yeah.
Because him being across the street from his family at the supermarket would not have been a particularly satisfying ending, but you could see that logically being the end of the movie. He's like, okay, he's not dead. He's going to go off with his family. And, then, it's much more showy to, do the countdown with the gun and to Josh Brolin. But I felt like there were multiple endings and I wasn't satisfied with any of them. But I really enjoyed the movie for the most part. I hope more people check it out. You could all tell me that I'm wrong, but
No,
How about your side?
it
Tony,
wasn't a
you're the-
horrible
you're-
movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Well,
it wasn't a horrible movie.
there were a different group of 5 of us at the beginning of this.
Oh, oh boy.
and a couple people who are not here who didn't like it.
Real
They
quick,
got
Ryan, did you
eliminated.
see this in a real IMAX or like a
Oh
Rochester
my
IMAX?
god.
It was a normal screen, I guess. I don't think it was an official IMAX.
Oh,
screen.
that's actually a normal screen is better than a Rochester IMAX.
That's
we're
true.
learning.
Oh, okay.
The chairs are more comfortable.
Yeah, it was a nice theater, so maybe it was. It's pretty big.
It wasn't.
These
It
are,
wasn't like a Rochester
cushy
theater. Yeah.
fucking chairs. It's not like they. Like
But does it recline,
They don't
Joe?
recline. They didn't
Aquarium
recline.
seat.
They didn't recline.
Look at how much fun I'm having.
You know what, guys? The movie would have been way better if I had seen it in a better theater. You're right about
Sure.
that.
No, they needed a scene where Ben Richards is yelling at the rich lady. One of the things he should have brought up, he's like, and you know what? Our chairs in our IMAX don't recline, and you fat cats have your reclining chairs.
You think you have a nice scarf? Forget your scarf. I want a
yeah.
reclining chair.
But anyway, I did have fun talking about it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kaylee. Finish your
No.
thought. I'm sorry. I just.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm very similar to Christian Blatt, and I actually have to get running as well
Ah.
pretty
All right.
soon.
Well, I do
I'm
want to
gonna
tell
go.
you guys.
But you know what? People are going to talk. Where are we going together?
Oh no!
wow.
I didn't
Yeah,
even go
no,
see a
it-
movie with you. Pfft, nobody has anything to
I'm
worry
not one of
about.
your best friends. Yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
tell
No,
you guys.
after learning your
since-
theater experience, we don't want to see movies with you guys. We wouldn't be caught dead then.
But Tony, I'll go and see something with you before the end of the year.
Okay.
Something other than Wicked. I'm not sure what.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
seeing Wicked, so that's fine.
No.
Yeah, well, my wife wants to see it, so I'll be seeing it. Anyway, thank you to everybody. Please check me out on social media at Christian DMZ. And Tuesdays, Who Are These Broadcasters on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. And it's also available as its own podcast. And if you're not impressed with me My co-host Eric Zane is very impressive. He has tremendous hair and a great radio voice. So that alone is reason to tune into Who Are These Broadcasters? My personal podcast, The Blackcast, BLADTCAST. Kaylee was on recently talking about John Carpenter's Halloween, even though it is John Carpenter's Halloween. And check all that out. I'm sorry, the show I make money from. 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal, hosted by Brian Slagle of Metal Blade Records, wherever podcasts are found.
Yes. Thank you, Christian, for joining the show. I love hearing your thoughts about films. Kaylee, I know you have to go, but I did want to tell you that this movie was meta in more than one way, as we went to dinner and I had a lovely Mexican dinner and several drinks, and then we went out for cocktails after the movie, and I ate some chicken wings, and then I went home and I became the running man. I had the runs, and I was running to the bathroom all night last night.
I'm so glad I didn't eat any chicken wings or Mexican food. I just drank my dinner and snacks.
You did the right thing.
Smart woman.
Not eating all of the contaminated food that I ate last night.
I'm sorry that your butthole isn't as in good of shape as Glenn Powell's.
I'm so glad I have a bidet, because I really needed to cool it down. Do you want to plug anything at this time?
No, your butthole? I don't know how to answer that question. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can check me out on Once Over with Kaylee, Cayley. Let's never talk about Andy's butthole over there. That's one of the advantages of going over there and subscribing and liking. I'm doing movie reviews. I got some exciting episodes coming up about the good old internet days. We're talking about things like Usenet and how the chocolate chip cookie started the internet. Also, does Dabble's first stuff over there. So.
Now that I'm expanding you on the screen, I have to say I love your shirt.
Wait, real quick.
And I love you.
Real quick, Kaylee. Have you reviewed any other movies that are based off books recently on any other channels?
You know, it's interesting because we did recently talk about another movie that was based on a book.
Yes.
We're also, in addition to that, what was really, really cool about it was that it was also more heavily based on the book than previous versions of it. And that was Frankenstein. And I feel like Rob Kay was hanging out, at least for a little bit when we were doing that. But also it was on Tony from Hack the Movies channel.
Okay.
And it was wonderful. We were joined by Vinny Paulino, and it was great. Also, go to the Creep Off and make sure that you are voting for Vinny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is that who we're supposed to vote for?
Sucked.
We're going to replace Kaylee with an even hotter guest. Kaylee, thank you for participating.
I'll see you soon, Kaylee. I'm going to see you next week or a weekend. This week.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Bye. Thank you so much for having me. And Andy, again, thank you so much for doing this series. I am so excited that I got to participate in it. It has been a dang blast.
I've been just ripping off your show. It's just because I like your show so much that I wanted to do this. And Ryan gave me an excuse to do it.
I think it's all because of Ryan. Definitely not because of Tony. We all know that.
No.
Anyway.
That's exactly. Yeah.
Love you guys.
He does it better than everybody.
And welcome to the show, 2K.
Oh, you bastards. I just want to say to Kaylee, I'm like, no, bring me up, no, God damn it.
You are.
Son
No,
of a
you show up
bitch.
this late, you don't get to talk to Kaylee.
I know. Damn it. It happens every story of my goddamn life.
Where's your fucking girlfriend that bailed on us?
Oh, well, I mean, it is like, I don't think she saw the movie. That's what's happening. I just don't think she saw the movie.
Okay, we're asking very important questions. Did you see this in a real IMAX or a Rochester IMAX that doesn't have reclining seats?
I saw it at the time it was available in my local theater. Because all right, I had a show at 11 o'clock that ended at 1. I had another show at 6. There was a 2:40 playing. Boom, I'm taking that one. I didn't even know what it was in.
Okay, we're learning Rochester IMAXs aren't the best. So
Oh, really? Okay.
Trying to compare it to everyone else's experience.
I just my theater updated with reclining seats and tables.
So 2K, what did you think about the movie? Like,
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say great. I still like the original better. I do miss the gimmicky aspect of the original. The fact that all the bad guys had like their own weird gimmick thing, as opposed to this 5 mercenaries, following a burn victim. Yeah.
I did have a fantasy in my head that there would be a scene where some child put a a miniature dynamo in the street, and then Ben Richards would run it over with a car and just destroy that character because I fucking hate Dynamo in the original.
Oh wait, whoa!
No,
So
so hang
you
on
hate
one second.
Dynamo?
Hang on. So we talked.
Dynamo
we
rules.
talked-
Fuck you,
We
Andy.
talked to Nice Dog last week about the original, and I said one of the things, the best things, it's like making Polka Dot Man a likable character in the Suicide Squad, right? How can we make Dynamo the best character in this new version? And I was really hoping they would do it, or at least not even have a light bright somewhere on set. But they never did any of that in it, and whatever. It's fine.
Real quick, can I get back to something Ryan said earlier about the
Please.
game being out in the world? Again, that is the source material. The previous one did what you said, is to put it in an area. But I think another reason, maybe one thing that got this greenlit, is that the John Wick movies are super popular, and those are about everyone chasing a guy just out in the world. That might have been like why this got like greenlit. They're like, oh wait, this is like a John Wick. So I think that's why they're like, you know what, we'll do what they did in the book so we can make it like a John Wick, but the action wasn't as good as John Wick.
No,
That's
you really want a
interesting.
lot of like fight sequences, like hand-to-hand fight
Yeah.
sequences in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's mostly him running for his life and blowing shit up behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accidentally. Accidentally, not even intentionally.
So in the last episode we did of talking about the original, we've tried to come up with the references of all the movies that were similar to this. The Hunger Games was brought up earlier, and we mentioned that the Hunger Games is like this, and that John Wick, that's a great poll as far as that's very much like this. The one that I just thought of and I was looking up was Boss Level. The Frank Grillo one, where it's just like you had all the hunter characters around it, because somebody brought up that the hunters weren't like as prominent or like in a better way. Like you could have done it better. You know, like the hunters just didn't get featured as much, especially when you're like Hunter
Joe,
6.
I'm sorry
Ben Richards
not
is
to
gonna be
interrupt you
Hunter
yet again,
6.
Joe. I'm so sorry to interrupt you yet again, but I just need to bring up the twin brain version. I'm not kidding. Like 20 minutes ago, I was thinking, what else could I possibly do similar to this? And I was looking at Joe Carnahan's filmography. So the fact that you're bringing up Boss Level right now is it's disturbing to me from a Tomax and Zaymot point of view.
I got to ask, I know you guys probably, if you can just really quickly tell me your individual enjoyment level. Like, did you like it? Did you love it? Was it okay?
Yeah, you missed the
We
beginning.
did tell
So that's
people that didn't like it.
collectively, everybody was begging for it to be better than it was. I feel like it's a entertaining movie, and I was watching it with Jenny Jingles. I was sitting right next to Jenny Jingles, who had not seen the Schwarzenegger version. And my wife had not seen the Schwarzenegger version. And then I get to the end of the film and I asked them what they thought, and they enjoyed it very much because Glenn Powell is in a towel for a good portion of the movie. But
how did that towel stay on that whole time? That's what I want to know.
I know. Unfortunately, it didn't stay on the entire time.
I was hoping it'd fall off earlier. No, I'm joking.
I was hoping he would use it, like whip.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, let's grade it. I mean, I don't know. You want to save it for the end, but like since it was brought up, like, do you want to give your like kind of grade of this before we kind of like dive into the end of it? Because we haven't really talked about the end
I
yet.
think that's fine. Tony, how would you rate this on a let's steal Kaylee's format? 7 out of 7 thumbs.
No, like
What would you give?
A, B, like start A being the greatest.
Cinema score.
Okay. I'll give it like a B plus. I really enjoyed it. I kind of knew it wasn't going to be like his earlier stuff. And 2K, you relate to this, but like I love the original movie.
Yeah, me too.
But I like just read the book before I saw this, so I was able to enjoy this as an adaptation of the book and not really compare it to the original movie. So yeah, I enjoyed it as its own thing. Obviously, I'm going to watch the original movie more. It's just more fun. And it gets the idea across just in a very different way. But no, I think it was like solid. The action's good. It's not the best thing ever. I think the Home Alone sequence is the best part of the movie. And Glenn Powell's charming. Like I said, if you could show this to someone who's not familiar with the Schwarzenegger one, I think they would like it a lot more.
Yes, I think so.
Solid B plus. Room for improvement.
Ryan.
Well, Tony, I'm surprised by that high score, and it's there. Yeah, but that's not a bad assessment, though. I feel like I had zero expectations going in. I wasn't even comparing it to the old film. I mean, I'm old, and I definitely was raised in the '80s, and I love Arnold, and I enjoyed the movie. It's funny. My oldest son, he saw the original Running Man just recently. He had never seen it, and he's 27, and he's like, "Oh, I hated that movie because it was really corny." He didn't get the like it was really cheesy and corny because he wasn't raised in the 80s, right? So for him in the 2025 eyes to see that film was like, so I think everything we're hearing, it sounds like if you don't know the original, you don't have any kind of a affiliation for it, you probably would enjoy this maybe just a little bit more because it's not boring, it's fun. Glenn Powell's great, all those things are true. I guess I felt like I was more confused than I wanted to be, and I was questioning everyone's motives more than I thought I was. And I think Glenn is a good actor, and I think he's a good leading man. He's only 37 years old, so he's still got a lot of history, a lot of future ahead of him in film. I kind of wish I liked him more. I like he was a father and a husband. Like, oh, this is good. I can relate with this. And all of a sudden, he was just like an asshole to everybody. It seemed really weird. I was like, I didn't understand why he was such a good father and family man, but he seemed to be kind of a jerk. And I don't know, like he was a jerk to everyone. You know, he's strangling kids and stuff. I don't know. It was kind of odd.
I mean, we've all wanted to at some point.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Depends on the kid.
C plus. I give it a good C
part of
plus.
the movie.
C plus. C plus. Interesting. Yeah.
C+.
I guess that is part of my problem with the character. It's like just because you have a family doesn't make you somebody I want to root for. But
Right.
But it was a good starting point. I found myself liking him at the very beginning with his boss, talking to his wife. I felt his plight. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about him anymore. It was weird. It was a weird transition to like the character.
They didn't give him any sense of humor. You got to give these people a sense of humor to make them entertaining on screen.
He did ask the pilot how he likes his coffee. Just after he found out his wife and kid were dead, I like how he's still able to come up with one-liners. Hey, Ben, are you making coffee? Yeah. How do you like it? My wife and kid just. I just like how my wife and kid just got killed, but now I'm coming up with quips anyway.
The Dear Diary thing had a little bit of humor in it. The Dear Diary.
I ate 20 puppies today. That was funny.
Sortis, do you have any Coke Zero? How about plain zero? The only fucking one-liner that we got out of Glenn Powell in this. Joe, A plus to F minus. What do you give the Running Man, Joe?
So yeah, I'm falling. The reasons I didn't like it was for what I wanted out of it, like what it lacked so much. So the lack of Edgar Wright touches to it. You know, we had it was setting an expectation for. I thought the original leaves you so much room for humor in there, and Edgar Wright's previous work has so much humor that you would think that it would be there. The reason I gave it a higher score is because it was so true to the source material. Like we were saying, our friend had just read the book or was like a fanatic about the book, and he was saying it was like virtually 90% accurate. Obviously, the ending not so much, but like the accuracy of it, I thought it looked really good. But then there was just things we talked for 2K. Ryan, maybe you weren't here for it. Like things that. Just didn't deliver, like the Jansky and Laughlin role, like characters that just felt left out, or you could have brought them in to be better. So a lot of potential that was never met. That Dune Buggy's part could have been like action that could have been that we didn't get.
Dynamo's Dune Buggy was better. We all agree. We love Dynamo.
Yeah, that's a good point. There were Dune Buggies in both movies. We could have done this better, and. But we did, but things like I brought it up before, like the Rorschach test, the interview thing where he like the word association thing was so funny to me. So the reason I gave it a B verging on B minus, like a very low B, a B but verging on B minus, only because I saw potential that I didn't get. But I liked a lot of it. I liked the look. I liked, and I liked the story. I knew I was going to get the book version of this, that I wasn't comparing it to the Arnold one.
Yeah.
So I knew what I was going to get, so it delivered that, but I wanted it to go just a little bit further to make it a better movie.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. 2K. Scale of A to F.
I'm with Ryan on this one. I went C plus with it. Did you guys mention the Schwarzenegger money yet?
Yeah. I was Christian Black's background was from Schwarzenegger money.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger money instantly. Like, all right, that's pretty funny. I get. The character. I think they flushed out. Like Brolin's character. I think Brolin was great. I think he really pulled off his character really well. Coleman Domingo was great at playing Coleman Domingo.
We wanted more of Coleman. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess the action was decent. It left, like I said, left me wanting. Like you said, the Dune buggy scene, 100%. Like, oh, this is gonna be a really cool chase. He's gonna launch some of those pipe bombs at the helicopter. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be over the top. And I'm like, oh, he's just gonna fall off the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine too. That works.
Yeah, which we saw in the trailer, right?
Yeah. And I also feel like they kind of established that he and his wife were ex-military, but not. Like, can we give us a little bit I mean, clearly he has a military background, but she implied that she did too. Yeah. And I feel like we never really got like an idea of what happened with that. And then of course the thing at the end, like the second he says, "Oh, your wife and kid are dead," I think everyone watching the movie said, "No, they're not. Stop it."
Well, not me, because I read the book and they are dead. So I was like,
but they showed us they could fake any video, and I'm like, clearly this is just a fake of them being killed. They're trying to get this guy to sign on. Although why you would sign on with people who just murdered your wife and kid? Wait, did you say 5-year deal? 5-year deal? I mean, I was thinking 6.
Yeah, that's why in the book Killian's like, just random people did it. He didn't go, one of our guys did. He's like, random people did it. That was who killed your wife and kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we all had issues with the ending, but it's because they couldn't do the 9/11 ending, so they had to come up with it. It really stumbles at the end. That's why I didn't give it as high of thing. It's like, yeah, they kind of fell in their face.
It's like as an Islander fan, you go to the Islander games, and he did this bit where they played the scene from Godzilla, where the general goes, "I want you to blow up Madison Square Garden." The Rangers are their biggest rival, and then post 9/11, that went away fast. I was like, nope, not showing that part anymore. Nope.
Andy, how did you rate it?
Yeah, I was thinking that I was going to rate this on a scale from Shaun of the Dead to Last Night in Soho. Like, where does this fit in the quality of all of these movies that I've been discussing for the last month and a half? And when I reflect on that, I feel like I would enjoy watching this more than I'd rather rewatch this than Baby Driver. And I'd probably rather rewatch this than Last Night in Soho.
Definitely.
Even though I feel like Last Night in Soho feels more like an Edgar movie than this does. But when it comes to rewatchability, because after you know what happens in Soho, the mystery is half of it. So when you remove that, it kicks it down to, and then it's like, okay, between this and World's End, I still feel like I'd rather watch World's End. So yeah, it's probably just a step above Baby Driver, with Baby Driver and Last Night in Soho at the bottom. They almost go in order, but this just didn't deliver the Edgar personality that I had hoped for. I really just wanted a little more kinetic, like the hard cuts, like the montagey things. If it was a little more of that and just a little bit funnier, it would have hit the right tone. But
it lacked charm.
Yeah,
it lacked charisma and charm. And if it just had a script doctor that wrote 6 jokes, this would have been probably a way better movie if there was 6 big laughs in it. And it felt like a different director directing it.
But I mean, a lot of that is like that interview I saw of him. He said he wanted to make the movie that he envisioned in his head. And he read the book when he was young, before he had a style. So maybe this is what he wanted it to look like. He's like, this is how I pictured it before I had the Edgar Wright style.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe
he made the book with a producer going, you can't do the 9/11 ending.
I think they knew that going in. They're like, well, right away we're changing that ending.
So to that point, let's talk about the ending, right? Like, because that is, like, I guess I'll give my opinion, or at least a generic, is like, it just felt preposterous, really, in the, like, I don't know. Ryan, what did you think about the ending of this one versus, I mean, were you familiar with the book?
I read the book so long ago, I can't even speak to it. I'm a big Stephen King fan. I've read most of the books once, but
But you
not a
know they
reread.
fly a plane in the building, right? That's what most
Yeah,
people
yeah.
know
So
about the
they
book, right?
that's right. Yeah. So they escaped that issue, but the whole with the countdown killing Josh Brolin's character, I kind of like that. I don't mind that at all. I mean, this guy is the tyrant, so the rebel leader. He's basically the new rebel leader for this new society. But that's what I was confused about. Like, I still was a little bit confused with what the movie showed me, why people were, why this group, this game group was. So again, Hunger Games explained it very well. I was more confused here as to why were they so. There seemed to be more of them than the others. Why were they so? There's a combination of they seem to be prisoners in this world, but they also enjoyed the game at the same time. But then they revolted against the game at the end. So I was a little bit confused why they were angry, but they also enjoyed the game at the same time. Does that make sense? The audience fought at the end, but why did they do that with episode 1? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, this is popping into my head. Not to interrupt you, but
Yeah, sure.
It felt Ready Player One-ish too.
Yes,
Like,
I was just thinking
about
that.
the game,
Okay.
just because similar things. But sorry, continue.
Oh, I don't know if I'm exposing my lack of understanding the movie, but I was confused by the world building, so it was hard for me to cheer again for Glenn because the game rules were unclear, and then where he was allowed to go was unclear. When he had to pop in and check was like I found myself just kind of confused. All I was doing the fine. I just know he can't be caught or killed, and he eventually is going to win. I'm going to see how he does it.
Yeah. I was surprised that the woman who was kind of featured so prominently in the marketing of the film, she gets carjacked, and then she's in the last 40 minutes of the movie. That character seemed very tacked on. Is she in the book any more than that, Tony?
She is, but he spends. I mean, it's at the later end of the book. That is the third person he interacts with. Okay. But he spends like a long time with her, and kind of shows her how everything's kind of fucked up. Whereas this, they had to do it because it's in the book, but they sped through it a lot. That's why you get that weird. That is a weird part of the movie where he's just like, and by the way, rich bad, poor people good, and blah 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 blah.
Where corporations.
It's like in the book he makes his point by showing actions, she trusts the police, and she's like, obviously I'll turn you in, but they are ready to shoot him with her in front of him. So that's when she realized oh, the system is not on my side, even though I'm rich. It's done a little bit better, whereas the movie, you're right, tries to speed through it. And I'm like, I would have introduced that girl maybe earlier. I don't know. Or if this was a series, you could have had 2 episodes with her. But yeah, they kind of rushed that card. That was a little cringe. The whole car dialogue where he's like, rich people bad. Like, okay, all right.
Was anyone else hoping for was it Michael Cera?
Yeah.
Anyone hope for his mom to take one between the eyes at some point? Stop screaming.
Yes.
Enough.
Yes.
Well,
she's in that safe room, but she's in the safe room with no way out. She's stuck in there. I don't think she can get. She's gonna die in the safe room.
That took place in Barry. I was hoping they were gonna be my mom's crazy because of an evil clown every 30 years. But I guess the clown's dead at this point. Well, whatever.
So 2K, what did you think about the thing that I didn't understand or whatever is just all of a sudden there's some uprising in the audience at the end of how do they orchestrate this? Or
here's the thing. I think the guy, the black guy that was doing the tapes, the YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay, he showed that that the cheering actually wasn't cheering. They were already angry and booing earlier on. They put fake people. But me show. Oh, see this guy was from season 1. So they were showing fake outrage at our main character, where it was actually outrage at the corporation. So when they get busted, essentially supposedly killing his wife and child, and then that I think led to the eventual.
There's so many fake outs. There's so many fake outs. I don't even know what movie I was watching at the time. I was what? Is this the movie or is this a fake out? I don't know what I'm watching half the time.
Hey, is that the character or is that Tom Cruise with a mascot?
That was something that was a thing that I enjoyed the most about the movie is when they would pay homage to the original with the solid gold dancers coming out and the port the ride that takes you into the game zone.
Yeah, that is from that movie. I don't remember that in the novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they keep yelling, "Stop filming me"? Sorry.
Go
Why
ahead.
why do they keep yelling that?
Oh,
Stop
'cause
filming me.
I think because they know it gives away their location.
Okay. All
Or you're
right.
just tired of it. We've been filmed for so long. Just fucking stop filming me already.
Okay.
Here's the
All
other
right.
thing that like confused me, or like I didn't quite, or I felt like it didn't deliver the way that it should have, or whatever. Tony, because you just listened to the book, correct me or remind me. I think in the book he only goes like 9 days, right? Like in this it goes like 17. They're supposed to go 30. Like nobody even comes close except for maybe McCone. Obviously McCone says that he went 29. They don't even get anywhere near 30 days in this, and I think that's like leaves like it's just a letdown, I guess, or disappointment.
Yeah, that's what I felt
it's
about
just-
this. It was they're overpowered. All the contestants seemed like grossly overpowered. I don't know how this is even fun to watch. You're basically just watching people get murdered within a day. It's
Right.
weird.
And they're not being
weird
filmed
game.
24/7, so it's just like, okay, I guess
Yeah.
the show they just cut together. What is the rest of the show if they only do like 7 minutes of that thing? Like, it's just
Right.
like, is it the hunters just being like, America, am I right?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
And
it's weird.
there had to be one guy in the show too that just filmed his own asshole every day for 10 minutes and then threw it in a box. There you go.
I'm looking
I
up.
would have liked.
Sorry, I'm looking
w-
up. It says his wife and kid were dead for at least 10 days in the book, so he made it more than 10 days.
That's crazy.
197 hours. How many days is that?
Oh crap! You're gonna make me do math.
That's 6 days. That's like that's about 7 days.
Okay, never
6
mind. All right.
plus.
Well, then 10
But-
days. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's just say it was 2 weeks. Let's just say
I did wish that there was a little more to the evasion and some more espionage,
Yeah.
not even espionage, but you just happen to know this William H. Macy guy that's going to give you a fake mustache.
That was a weird nothing
That-
scene.
Yeah,
Right.
that is a shortcut to writing, and
Right.
I would have liked to see more trickery and sneakiness. The thing when he did like the gum with the mirror to escape, there just needed to be a little more thought put into how you would successfully win this game, and it was all just kind of set aside or shortcutted around or explained away, and it made it
Right.
less interesting instead of it being more like a Born Identity kind of movie, which it had the potential to be.
In the same idea, you also happen to run into a street urchin whose brother just happened to be the biggest YouTube
Yeah.
underground
Oh, my
YouTuber.
brother,
on the
my
planet.
cousin is Mr. Beast.
Yes.
Thanks.
Again, I can't believe that's what they came up with the movie. Like in the book, he's just like, hey, we all have these illegally made air filters in our nose to filter out the bad air. And then this movie was like, yeah, we're not going to do that. What if he was a YouTube conspiracy guy?
Yeah. There was
Who
a,
isn't in
there was
2025?
a CBS YouTube or a CBS show called Hunted at one point. I'm trying to look this because I'm like, we've seen this
Oh,
at one point.
you're right. That I think, and yeah, there's been other like
2017.
Japanese game shows similar to this. Right? they're one step away from hunting themselves for sport over there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Ryan, any other takeaways from what you maybe like
Yeah.
what your favorite part or your least favorite part of the movie was?
Well, it's interesting you guys were so big on the Booker T guy. Sorry, what was his name again?
Bobby T.
Bobby
Oh,
T.
Coleman,
Domingo.
Bobby
Coleman
T.
Domingo.
Coleman
Yeah,
Domingo.
he was good, but I really like Josh Brolin, and I admit so. Every Josh Brolin and Glenn Powell scene together, they were really great together, and I really enjoyed the backstory. So here's the thing: I really enjoyed getting up to the games, the trial sessions. Though I feel like they should have expanded on those more, had more contestants maybe go through it or see how they fail. I found myself a little bit bored for the any parts that weren't. I almost like the non-action sequence and stories better. I like the characters that when they were talking about the world, talking about the game more than the game itself. And that was weird for me to sort of enjoy that more than the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
That's about it. So other than that, C plus. Yeah, I'd say watch it. It's a good film. And Andy, before we do close, because you are in charge of this whole season of Edgar Wright. First, I want to say thank you for allowing the show to be on the Director's Chair Network. I really
Oh.
want to thank you for that. You've done an incredible job. You've
Thank you.
really you brought your A game, and I really appreciate you coming on and everyone that guested on your show. And I would like I want to kind of hear your final thoughts of what you learned about Edgar Wright as a director. Are you happy with his work overall? If you don't mind sharing that, like 2 minutes, I'm curious what you have to say about him as a director.
Yeah, that is something I have been wrestling with all the way up to starting this episode. As I suggested doing this because I thought that I was taking on something that I would enjoy as a whole, like across the board.
Yeah.
And now, like, the more that I've dug into it and the more that I've come to understand the especially the latter movies where he's gone on to stop just doing the same movie over and over again. It's like, where do I go from here once I am not doing the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost thing on, specifically Baby Driver, specifically Last Night in Soho, and this film. So it's been hard to come to terms with that the guy, the director, the artist, Edgar Wright, is a capable and watchable and entertaining director. And wrapping my brain around why I like the early stuff so much versus what he's gone on when he's taking risks and trying to do something different. I think that I like The Running Man as a swing that he's taken back at action and doing something mainstream. I'm glad that he did that versus Last Night in Soho kind of thing. But in the end, it just becomes. When we didn't even talk about, I wish that Kaylee and Chris were still here because
Yeah, me too.
we've got to like talk. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the last episode of Spaced because when we were talking about all of those earlier works, it was all about him being a voice of my generation and how he's gone on in these last three films to not really represent me anymore and me coming to terms with that. And this isn't like, I guess this is so masturbatory as a person that's making these videos, but it's been something to come to terms with for me. I'm still wrapping my brain around it that he's not the guy that made Sean and Hot Fuzz and Spaced anymore. He's gone on to do these big departures and different swings. So I don't know. Do you guys feel like that he's not the same director that you fell in love with?
I just think he's growing as a director because a
Yeah.
lot of those early things are him imitating stuff that he liked and recreating stuff that he liked, and now he's trying to put his own stamp on it. So again, like you, it's not really landing all for me, but at the same time, it's not terrible. So I want to see where he goes. So, yeah.
I just want to see him hit a home run the way that like Hot Fuzz was a fucking home run, and that's really and that was so referential. And this is not. It's not like The Running Man is something that he pulled out of his soul and is like solely an Edgar Wright developed thing the way Baby Driver was and was a miss. This was almost like something that had success built into it, and it just still wasn't good enough to me. So that's disappointing for me.
Can I ask you guys a question? Obviously, Hot Fuzz is kind of like a takeoff on action movie cliches. Do you think he was trying to stay away from like action movie cliches in this movie?
Yeah, I feel like he was more into the character driven stuff than he was the action.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe his early work versus the current stuff, where the early work is like almost Family Guy, like reference.
Yes.
Like you're making reference, you're referencing, and the likability of it is the nostalgia and the commonality and those references. Whereas to Tony's point, he's growing. Obviously, there's source material that you're making a film around, so it's a reference per se. Like you're going to strike a tone or whatever. But I think that old early stuff was just like, yeah, reference and commonality, and just like, oh, member berries. Like the early stuff is like member berries, and you can get a lot of mileage off member berries, right?
Mhm.
Versus this that is just a vision of a story, that people may, or that you either know it or you don't, and then if you don't, then maybe if you're Mrs. Andy or Jenny Jingles, then you liked it because it was at least a well done story. Again, I thought it looked good. It
That's a
was
good
well
point.
done. Some people like I didn't have a problem with the length. For
That's what she
Ryan
said.
at 2K, some people
I
had
knew, I
it
was waiting for somebody.
how long it said, how long the movie was. I wasn't sitting there going, "Oh my god, it's still going," because I think we've all sat in movies being like, "Jesus Christ, when's this fucking thing gonna end?" I didn't feel that way in this movie.
No.
That's fair.
I had to pee through the entire second half of the movie, so that was aggravating. The entire like, fuck, why'd I get this large goddamn Mountain Dew?
This is the first movie in a while where I haven't had to get up and pee. I
Oh,
was
wow.
actually shocked. Like, huh?
Yeah.
Usually I go like once or twice.
Yeah.
What a great endorsement for the film.
Yeah.
I
don't
didn't
have
have
to
to
pee.
pee once.
I like that because then I feel like I'm getting a director's cut when I see it like on streaming later. I'm like, ooh, this is the scene I didn't get when I was in the theater.
You'll love it, and your bladder will love it too.
So I'm curious, Tony, have you seen Fistful of Fingers?
No, that's the one I haven't seen. That's the one I haven't seen. I have to hunt
yeah.
that down.
Well, it's on
It's
YouTube.
on
for free.
YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, check it out and check out the debut episode of this whole season where Andy and I went over that movie. And I will say this, it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I had a great time. I would rather watch Fistful of Fingers again, I think, than
Than Running Man.
All right, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out then.
That's great. Any final 2K as the late joiner of the show? Is there anything that you wanted that we didn't talk about yet that you wanted to bring up?
I'm sure you brought it up. It's as far as like favorite part of the movie, the Michael Cera's house, the Home Alone Michael Cera house. That was to me the most enjoyable part of the movie, other than the screaming mom.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved her. She was like one of my favorites. It made me laugh.
For the backhander.
Yeah.
The other thing is I thought I actually guffawed during was after he takes out that first group of police officers and they bring out the bunch of kids with candles. I laughed out loud in the theater. People looked at me like I was a heartless bastard. So, yeah, like I think there are several movies that are based on books are not sequels, remakes.
Yeah.
And if they weren't called that, I would have enjoyed more. And this is probably one of those movies that if it wasn't a remake, I would have just enjoyed it for what it was, a little more.
I was going to say the exact same thing. If this was called something other than The Running Man, this probably would have been a lot more enjoyable.
The fleeing dude.
Yeah. Well, I think the title is a little sexist for 2025. It should have been the person who moves quickly from danger.
And Ryan, any final? Ryan Rebalkin, any final thoughts?
Well, yeah, and I'll give a quick plug, of course, to the network. So check out the Director's Chair Network. It's available where you can listen to audio and YouTube as well. So just Google the Director's Chair Network podcast to see where you can watch it. And Tony, you're my last invite.
Oh,
I'm gonna. You can say publicly no, embarrass me in front of everybody, but I would like to. I would like to invite you formally to cover the last film that Terrence Malick has done thus far, called The Hidden Life.
okay. The only Terrence Malick film I've seen was Thin Red Line. That was him, right? Can't remember a thing in it. And The Tree of Life, which I didn't like at the time. But maybe that was just early college Tony. Maybe adult sad Tony will like it more.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'll do it. I'll check it out.
Awesome.
Is it 10 hours long?
Probably.
Awesome. Great.
Okay,
It's actually 3 hours long. It's only 3 hours long.
Oh, good.
Get ready to pee.
Now that you've agreed to that, and we'll keep you on the show, do you want to plug anything, Tony?
Yes, Hack the Movies. Check it out. What is this? Today's Sunday. Tomorrow we're putting out our review for Silent Hill Revelation 3D.
Oh, wow.
That's right, the second movie. Because the third movie's coming out. I think I'm doing a live episode this week, which is something different. It's not really a review. It's me and Adam Does Movies. We're gonna have a guy come in with trivia. We're gonna see if we can remember anything that happened in Stranger Things before the 5th season airs. Because I've only ever seen each episode once as they aired. So I thought that'd be
That guy
fun.
plays
Instead of,
Metallica.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I was like, should I rewatch the show? I'm like, I don't have fucking time for that. I'm like, oh, we'll just do an episode where we try to remember what happened.
I'm still pissed they killed Eddie. Still
I don't
pissed.
even know who Eddie is. This is gonna be great.
Johnny Storm played Master Puppet.
I'm just waiting for the Indian girl to come back with the X-Men. I remember that episode. But yeah, check me out on there. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tony. I've pathetically been telling myself that I'm going to get up before I have to go to work and work out. And my motivation to do that is rewatching Stranger Things while I work out. And I will admit here and now that over the last 4 weeks, I'm on episode 3.
Working out's going really well, Andy. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's too
I
long
can't
of
deal
a
with 7
workout.
being hot in real life now. It's throwing me off.
Yeah. Not to step on your plugs, Tony. Please finish.
But yeah, patreon.com/hackthemovies. Even if you're at the free tier, you get the public podcast feed, better notifications than YouTube. YouTube kind of sucks these days. They deleted my second channel for 2 hours for spam and deceptive practices. Like, what the fuck? I got it back right away, but I'm like, oh, apparently they're using AI and it's not going well. They're just deleting a bunch of channels randomly.
No shit.
So Patreon, please. Each podcast will have a link to where you can find the video version, either on YouTube or Rumble, which Rumble sucks. It's basically a glorified hard drive for me at this point. So yeah, Hack Movies. Wherever you find Hack Movies, I'll be there.
Thank you so much.
I'd
for
like to plug
joining
real quick the Rochester IMAX as.
Oh, good. Yes, please.
And also, all apologies podcast.
And 2K, are there any life-threatening game shows you're going to be doing anytime soon? Do you have something you'd like to plug?
Other than people porn bombing multiple channels that I'm aware of, that's usually. But other than that, these are fantastic.
I see you getting harassed in the chat as well.
It's always fun. This is the progression with me. What is this? I hate this puppet. All right, I don't mind the puppet. Okay, I like the puppet. That's usually how it goes.
Now I hate it again.
Yeah, exactly. Right to the beginning. But follow me at 2K Puppet on X. And my baby, Movies with 2K, every Sunday night on the Cut of the Jib Uncensored on Rumble. We watch movies. We goof on movies. Yep. People in the chat goof on movies. Have a good time. Echo Pineapple will be joining us next week for Popeye. Be watching Popeye.
I'll be on very soon.
Yes.
In December. We have something special cooked up over there.
Yes.
So
yeah, got a cool idea for that.
Follow 2K on X to see what's going on over there.
Indeed.
And thank you everybody for participating in this series and supporting the show on YouTube and Instagram and Patreon. I can't thank you guys enough. And this has been a lot of fun. I do think that I might figure out another director to cover because I had so much fun doing this one. So thanks Ryan for starting this kind of format, and thanks Tony for kind of pioneering the whole movie review podcasting thing. He's like one of the guys that I've been between you and Kaylee. It's just like that.
Don't put me in the same thing. I had the most watched episode. How many times do I have to repeat that on this?
I mean,
I'm sorry, 2K. You did not have the most watched episode in this miniseries. I was for you.
Just happy to participate.
At least Kaylee's not number 1. We can all be happy with that.
Right. Yes.
In our hearts, yes. On the show, no.
Yeah. So for 2K and Ryan Rebalkin and Tony from Hack the Movies and Joe Sixpack, I'm Trucker Andy saying,
stay sorry.